So this is how you make beats for EBK Jaaybo. Now in this video, we are gonna go over two of his most prominent styles, the dark side and then also the sample side. And I'm gonna show you how to do everything from scratch. So let's get into the dark Jaaybo type beats right now. So the first thing I got pulled up is this loop right here that I made. Then we're gonna get into how I made a beat around this loop. So first I went to the grandeur piano. I laid down some root notes so we could really get the dark vibe that all the EBK Stockton rappers be using. Now, since it is a low piano note, it is gonna have a lot of low end. So whenever you do these, make sure you go in and you cut out some of the low end so it doesn't clash with your 808 or your synth bass. Then I made this chord progression right here. All I did was just take the original root notes that we had from the piano that I just showed y'all, and I built chords out from it. And for a lot of these chords, you're gonna notice I'm using notes that are right next to each other, and doing that is going to really help you get a dark vibe for your music. So I took that chord progression, put it into an instance of Analog Lab. Here's the preset, by the way. And this is what it sounds like. Then after that, I took those root notes one more time, I put them into a bass, and I chopped it up to make it more groovy to fit the vibe of what we was going for. So here is the preset that I use, and oh, the gang and preset, that, if I'm correct, that's in West Coast Magic Volume 2 kit, bro. So as most of y'all know, I recently dropped the sequel to the West Coast Magic Analog Lab Bank, West Coast Magic Volume 2. Now I ain't gonna lie, I'm incredibly proud of this bank. I spent a lot of time on making all the sounds, and I really tried to outdo the very first one that I made. So with that being said, better basses, better synth leads, better pads, better keys, strings, all that. There's gonna be 70 sounds in total, and I also bounced out every single preset as a one shot. So even if you don't have Analog Lab, you still will be able to enjoy it. I know a lot of y'all been rocking with the content for a long time, and a lot of y'all really like to support me. So if you do want to support, this is one of the best ways. First link in the description, look no farther. And then I took those chords and I put it into Analog Lab one more time. This is called the Chain Jail preset. This is what it sounds like. Then after all the melodies, I started working on the drums. Then I moved on to a hi-hat. And when it comes to my drums, I've definitely been trying to make them more spacey, more spread out, and more simple. I've been talking to Taywan a lot, and if you know who Taywan is, he produced Shiloh, and he produced a lot of other songs for a lot of other EBK members. So when it comes to like these beats and these drums and everything like that, like you listen to him because he knows what he's talking about. And he has just been telling me like, hey, make them more simple, make them more spaced out. And that's what I really tried to do on this one. So when you listen to this hi-hat pattern, you'll be like, oh, I can do that. But it's like, it just works though. It just works for some reason. Then after that, we ended up moving into sound effects and perks. All right, now for these sound effects, this is just personally how I like to do them. I like to keep everything like super spaced out. But on the last like bar to last two bars, I'll kind of start comboing sounds and putting them together and even layering the sounds too. So if you notice on this part, like barely anything is happening. And that's because I'm mostly just playing off the bounce of the hi-hats and also the other drums. Like the sound effects are going in these spots that are in between like the kick and the hi-hat, or it's going into between spots of like the clap and the hi-hat. You feel me? So that's really how I've been laying down my perks recently. So I'll take the first 3 bars, and I'll really just use the sound effects to complement everything. And then the very last bar of the hook, that's where I just go crazy and just do whatever I want. And then lastly, the part that everybody always loves to talk about, the 808. So this is the E-Trizzle spins but beefier 808 right here. All I do is just take the out knob, turn it up, no boosting. If you boost this one, it's just gonna be way too much, bro. And then once again, I'm just laying down patterns that are based upon those root notes, and that's it. And then with all that put together, this is what it sounds like. Now let's talk about the more sampled style of EBK Jaaybo type beat. Now, when I think of the sampled EBK Jaaybo type beats, I think of things that are like really emotional, but then they get flipped in like the typical Stockton type way. So I had to like really reverse engineer the thinking for the sample. So the first thing I did was go to ripcord, and I went to the emotional preset, because remember, we have to make the emotional melody first. And then after messing around with ripcord for a little bit, I ended up making this chord progression. Now, usually whenever I'm using ripcord, I like making it with a piano because it's easier to hear all the tones. But I feel like when it goes to like emotional samples, I feel like everyone always goes towards the piano. So since everyone does typically go towards pianos when it comes to emotional beats, I was like, let's try a guitar instead. So I took those chords and I put it into the Ilya F move nylon guitar. I just copied over the same exact chord progression, and this is what it sounds like. Then for the effects, all I got is this reverb right here, and also this chorus. And then after that, all I did for the melody was find some vocals on Splice and layer them with the guitar. So after layering them together, I consolidated them into one wave file, pitched it up by 200 cents, and this is what we got. I was like, hey, it's simple, but it works. It does sound like a sample. So just to give a little bit of variation, I had one part with the sample being played regularly, and then I had another section right here where I kind of chopped it up. And then after that, we ended up moving on to the drums. Simple spaced out hi-hats. Then I added on a short open hat, and I actually have it playing at the same time that the 808s are going, so it creates like this cool contrast of high end and low end. And then after that, I just added a couple more perks, and remember, just like how I said earlier in the video, spaced out, simple. And then when you put them all together, this is what the beat sounds like.
Hey, go ahead, Infinite.
So with that being said, if you like the video, hit like. If you want to throw a comment, throw a comment. If you want to sub, hit the sub. My name is Devin, also go by Infinite, proud by Infinite, and peace out.